Hey everyone, it's Michael, and today we're going to be talking about Goosebumps Most Wanted, Special Edition number 4, The Haunter by R.L. Stine. I love this cover. As I said in one of my previous videos, I believe it was the very last one that I uploaded for, what was it called? There was another Most Wanted book I reviewed. Oh, Zombie Halloween. In Zombie Halloween, I talked about how I love covers for Goosebumps books, and I specifically love this The Haunter book cover. This book is very much a mixed bag. I don't think it's perfect. I don't think it's just this exceptional thing. It has a really good premise after the prologue. And the prologue takes place, and it's really just a boy, the main character, getting up on stage at this, thing. And he does this crazy tap dance thing that he, for some reason, can't help but do. He doesn't know why he can't do it, but it's kind of weird and wacky. And then it cuts to 3 weeks earlier. Now, essentially with this book, the whole premise of this book that I absolutely love, the good part that I was telling you about, is that essentially they get a class assignment. Our main character, his best friend, the whole class. And they end up having, or their team, which is like 4 or 5 different kids, decide on Halloween night they're going to go to this haunted house where supposedly a boy that I guess he died in there. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it was. It's been like 7 months since I read this. But I remember it enough to where I can do a pretty general, slightly positive review for this. But essentially, there's supposed to be a boy in this house, this haunted house, that died or something, and he has no eyes, as they put it. Which I guess means that they're just like empty sockets, I believe is what it described it as. Something like that. Which is a creepy idea. It's kind of overdone with how modern-day horror movies are literally nothing but possession and ghost films. But, if you can get over that, you might like this. So, I was super excited about this book because of the cover alone. The cover is so just gothic and majestic. It's so nice. I love the way that creature, the haunter thing looks. With the orange nails especially. It's just so eerie, some of the best Goosebumps cover art I've ever seen in my life, even compared to the original 62 run book collection classics, whatever you want to call them. Of course, this is a special edition. Like I said, it's very long. Well, not very, very long, but, it's like 170 pages. Because that's what special editions are. They're like 50 extra pages into a Goosebumps story. But the book itself, they end up going into this place on Halloween night, this haunted house, and they have some weird stuff happen that I actually think was really cool. Some kind of different stuff that I haven't seen done in, ghost stories or haunted house stories or anything for Goosebumps as far as I remember, because it's kind of more of a technological type thing. One of the kids, I believe it's a girl, has a father who is into all this ghost hunting stuff, like catching EVPs and all that stuff. And she has all this equipment that her dad had. So they kind of utilize some of that stuff. It's kind of interesting. I kind of wonder if R.L. Stine is a fan of, Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters, the TV shows. So he would know more about all this stuff. Maybe he just did a real quick research. Maybe he knows somebody. I don't know. Really honestly, after this really creepy section of the book about the haunted house on Halloween night type thing, it really has some great atmosphere, and even the bully in the book that's mean to our protagonist is well developed. I really like his persona. I like how cruel he actually is. It has this very Stephen King's Carrie type feel to it at times, with our main character being so much of being bullied and being victimized by this bully sometimes, even though that bully is on the team that has to go in the haunted house with all of them. But I also think the main character and his relationship with his best friend is very unique to Goosebumps. It's very, I would argue, more developed than most friendships in Goosebumps. Most of the time in Goosebumps books, we have just people who are just friends, who have been friends all of their life, or, it's just brothers and sisters and stuff like that. This feels different when it comes to character interactions. It kind of feels like a more advanced beyond this general age for Goosebumps reading. It's usually for younger kids. It feels like this might be a little bit above that. But then the wackiness of the story kind of brings it back to being more for younger kids that are fans of Goosebumps. If you haven't read Goosebumps before, this could be a good place to start, but it's really not great. It kind of gets too silly, honestly. It's kind of like another one of the Most Wanted books that's called Nightmare on Clown Street. It had a great premise. It could have been really good. It could have been really, really fun. It had such a cool carnival atmosphere and everything. Some really eerie stuff, some gross out stuff. And then it just becomes so wild and wacky and over the top, like a Sharknado movie, to the point where it just kind of ruins everything that they were doing there. I believe that Nightmare on Clown Street is worse than this, but I'm just making the general impression that this book has the same issue of just becoming too wacky and silly because of how cool the premise is. You know, it was really entertaining. I was really getting into this book when I was reading it, months ago. It's sad to see how it went, but I do enjoy it, and I do kind of slightly recommend it to people, especially if you're a younger reader. If you're more into the humorous type Goosebumps books that are a little silly and over the top, this is going to be for you. The Haunter's totally going to be up your alley compared to something like Zombie Halloween or, Goosebumps Wanted, The Haunted Mask. Those books are more for the scary aspects of the Goosebumps fandom. And, it is what it is. So have you guys read Goosebumps Most Wanted, Special Edition number 4, The Haunter? Did you like this? Did you hate it? What did you think about it, guys? The thing with this kind of book, even if it's more of a negative review than a positive one, I feel very middle of the road about this book. Even with that being said, remember, this is R.L. Stine, so it's not a complete loss. He does some really cool humor and some character stuff here that I do think improves the book, like I said. Kind of makes up for the really wacky nature as the book goes on, about the boy ghost thing that kind of gets ruined with how great the premise was. I wish that R.L. Stine would just write more straight up scary Goosebumps books. But, I haven't read any of the Slappy World stuff, so maybe that's changed by now. I don't know. I own them all, I just haven't read any more of the Slappy World books. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on Goosebumps Most Wanted Special Edition number 4, The Haunter? Put your thoughts and comments down in the comment section down below, like I said. And thank you for watching, and may the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today. And goodbye.